Dear sisters and brothers, welcome to the second broadcast of the Time Chronicles. Today we have woken up to a very strong day, what is named as the White Solar World Bridger. Imagine now the tranquility of a snowy morning, all covered white, as you open the curtains and look out of the window. It seems that it snowed during the whole night, perhaps, but it's not snowing any longer. As tranquil as you can imagine, just as the surface of a lake. There is no movement at all, a grand stillness. Only there are some sun rays playing with the snow on the ground, with their tiny reflections, and it seems that they are teasing the snow. This is how a white solar world bridger day feels like. I unfortunately don't have snow where I live, but the sun is quite bright. It's shining brightly, and I'm just imagining, just like you now do. And those of you who have snow in front of them when they open up their windows, I believe they are quite lucky today. What you do with stillness, portrayed with a white energy, what you do with it? It's like a potential energy not turned into kinetic energy yet. It's not transformed into any movement or any creation yet. It's like you have all the energy as the raw material for creation right in front of you. What you need to do with this energy is turn it into a creation. You first open the curtain, perhaps a window, if you didn't fear the cold outside, and you felt the energy. Right? So far, so good. You resonated with the energy and then you connected with it. You felt the energy. You are now part of this resonance, tuned into its frequency, holy. After you blend yourself into the resonance, you equalize yourself with the frequency of the environment. You start imagining, which means building chains of thoughts. And then you start transformation. Today, we focus on resonance, just like we did on January 2nd, where we had the resonance of the yellow electricity, which is the raw material of the electromagnetic fields built by chains of thought formed by letter and meaning frequencies. So it's letter and meaning frequencies. But today we have resonance of the white tranquility, which is formed by coordinates of consciousness. You need to listen to the first broadcast of the Time Chronicles to understand more deeper the letter and the meaning frequencies. Now, I ask you to imagine yourself in a submarine deep in the waters, let's say an ocean, and you're about to prepare yourself to get out of the submarine, wearing your special suits and getting into the ocean. I was born in a place at the shores of an ocean, so I know what it means to be going into an ocean. And I always have Jules Verne's Captain Nemo in my mind when I imagine a submarine in an ocean. Is a very precious item, I believe, of the collective human knowledge and consciousness. All of the books of Jules Verne, I like that. As you imagine yourself going into the ocean, imagine yourself going into a different energy that you are not in yet. Before going out into the ocean, you get into a special room in which you equalize the pressure of the ocean so that you don't die when you go out right into the pressure or the water comes into the submarine. It's the same when you go out for a spacewalk, getting out of the spaceship. And this room is called the airlock. This room is also called Karina. And for those of you who are already familiar with the universal knowledge, this is the station of transition between the fourth and the fifth dimensions. And there are many other karenas, as you know, on the path towards higher dimensions where you get equalized with the new energy of a new dimension, and then you are able to resonate and get transformed to start creating and advancing in this higher dimension. You are then able to get transformed in order to transform, to be able to become the bridger. bridging worlds, dimensions, or more importantly, bridging consciousness. You download the coordinates of the consciousness of a higher dimension when you get equalized, no different than equalizing the pressure of the ocean. A very valuable scientist I admire, Avi Loeb, the former chair of Harvard's astronomy department, has written an article in the Scientific American about the fact that our universe could have been formed in a lab by an advanced technological civilization. I personally thank Thomas Staffern for sharing the article of Avi Loeb, and it was like seeing the snow on the ground and abundant energy waiting to be integrated with the chain of thoughts. For those who already know that chains of thoughts prevail in the ocean of thoughts, these facts are now presenting the universal knowledge aspects to the humanity with some scientific underwriting. I'm so excited to share it. So, Avi Loeb has started in his article by saying that since our universe has a flat geometry with a zero net energy, an advanced civilization could have developed a technology that created a baby universe out of nothing through quantum tunneling. He also said that a low-level technological civilization, humans are class C, a civilization dependent on its host star, so namely our sun. You can imagine a flat geometry concept, similar to the concept of our well-known universal knowledge. A totality within a totality is the totality itself. Some terminologies might not be familiar, so you can Google the concepts to refer to its scientific definitions. And for instance, another concept is the net zero energy here. And in order to understand the concept of the net zero energy, imagining perhaps a building might help. A building known as the net zero energy building, which is a building with net zero energy consumption. So that means that the total amount of energy used by the building on a certain time period basis is equal to the amount of renewable energy created by this building itself. So now replace the word building with the word universe. Another phrase, quantum tunneling. Quantum tunneling concept may be similar to the concept of the tunnel opened up from the Atlantean dimension, which created all the simulation cubes containing trillions of universes. And this deserves perhaps another long broadcast. I promise for that as well. But Atlantean dimension is a very high dimension, and those who know it already, I can see their smiles on their faces right now, but it's like the snow out of the window now, how I feel, like the science is catching up with the ancient universal knowledge. It's unknown to the humans yet, as you might know. So let me read Avi Loeb's statement once again to remember. Very important, I think. All the statements, words, please listen carefully. Since our universe has a flat geometry with a zero net energy, an advanced civilization could have developed a technology that created a baby universe out of nothing through quantum tunneling. And at the moment, humans are a low-level technological civilization, class C, a civilization dependent on its host star, it's our sun, namely. Let me also remind you about the definition of today according to the system of law of time built by Jose Aguilera. Today is the white solar world bridger. Does it ring some bells? Okay, some, right? Transition the world civilization beyond its solar system. Be the bridger to do this. If we can advance our technology, certainly along with our level of consciousness, and if we thereby become independent on our sun, not dependent on our host star, in other words, we would be class B civilization. So our civilization would be class B. That means our civilization will be no longer dependent on its host star. And beyond this, if we can create our own baby universes in a laboratory, we would be a Class A civilization. So, welcome to the Metaverse. Metaverse, yeah, everybody has some opinion about it, but good news is that you do not have to buy a Porsche anymore, right? Because your avatar can now play the Need for Speed. Perhaps a lot of people of my age has played it. So you can now play it perhaps in the metaverse through virtual reality or augmented reality, and yeah, you can experience all the feelings of driving a Porsche or buying a Porsche by not buying it. So it's saving a lot of money. And perhaps another good news is that we don't have to die, in a sense, because our avatar would continue to be there as our consciousness. I think this is a very precious aspect. So all your memories, all your recordings will remain untouched. And for those who say metaverse is dangerous, I like to say that is it less dangerous to live in a world of inequality, injustice, poverty, racism, right, or war? Instead, why don't we embrace the abundant energy of the day, just like the rays of the sun flickering on the snow, waiting to be co-created? Maybe it's worth taking the opportunity to mention here about my recently published book, ARQ2, Orion, A Dream Truth, and refer to a section where I talk about the mysterial web. Mysterial web is an intergalactic web, a universal web of consciousness, where you have all the coordinates of consciousness. It is taking us beyond the ocean of thoughts. It brings us to the ocean of consciousness. It's closer to the Atlantean dimension, where you have plenty of dark matter as the raw material of creation. This mysterial web is connected like an enhanced Wi-Fi. I mean, there's no wires. Sometimes I hate my own jokes. Sorry about that. No wires. I think deep down I do it on purpose to dilute a little high frequency of such dimensions for the average human mind to digest, because when you mention those names, actually they carry a frequency. Remember the letter frequency and the meaning frequency of the words you say. When I use those words, I just don't say it. I revisit those dimensions in my mind. I go there, have a vision, and then talk about it. So it's certainly a frequency. And, it's whether it's dangerous or not, the metaverse concept, coming back to it. And an atom is dangerous if you use it as a bomb, but it's not dangerous if you use it as a utility. So it's about how you use things. And in my book, I narrate about the mysterial web, where it's connected to 7 simulation cubes beneath the Atlantean dimension. The main goal of these cubes, of these simulations, let's say, is to graduate from these simulation cubes into a +1 cube, which would constitute the basis for superhuman reality. And sounds nice, right? Superhuman reality, whose members, or let's say units, would be able to survive beyond all created dimensions so far. There are new dimensions waiting to be created by this superhuman collective consciousness within the superhuman reality. And we are still walking with our baby steps within our baby universe, looking forward to create our own baby universes. So, coming to an end, I'd like to tell you that the picture which you see at the beginning of this broadcast is an AI endorsed image. So it's created by AI when we give the words to the AI, white solar world bridgers, and it carries the frequency of today. I hope you enjoy it. Looks like this a fried egg sun side up, right? I really hate my jokes. Okay, please listen to my first broadcasts, Time Chronicles #1, if you haven't already. And please spread the news if you like the video, if you like the audio, let's say more correctly. And what does all of these tell us is that something wonderful is about to happen, and we are all going to witness this. Thank you for your precious time, for listening. Please share with your friends if you enjoy the broadcast. Thank you for doing that.